We're going to start with you, and then we're going to work our way down. Just introduce yourself and what you do at the company you're at, and then it comes back to me, and we'll get into it. All right?
Sure. Yeah. My name is Vincent. I'm with Kronos Research. We are a market maker, a trader. We also run asset management business. We incubated a couple of projects before. We've been around for 7 years. Trades a few $1 billion in volume every day. I'm sure same as our fellow panelists. Our headquarters in Taipei. We have a Singapore office as well. Have a global presence. So yeah, always happy to chat about potential partnerships.
Hey guys, thanks for coming by in the early morning. My name is Youngsun, and I'm currently the head of product for Flipster. Flipster is a derivative-focused trading platform where we strive to offer traders the best possible experience through zero spread, and we offer very, very thick liquidity. So that's that. And my background is mostly based on tech and product. So for this panel, I think we have a lot of expertise around like liquidity provision or like trading, and I think I'll provide my 2 cents on most of the platform side or the product building side of things.
My name is Maxim Shen. Thanks for having me here. Come from HFT, high frequency trading, high frequency market making space. Spent my previous 15 years in Chicago, New York, prop trading shop, the hedge fund space. I created Enter Capital about 4 years ago. Now we have a presence in New York and Taiwan, focused on high frequency proprietary trading, market making across traditional finance and crypto markets. Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to make this a little bit different to make it more valuable, and I'm going to start it on easy mode. And the way that works is, how did you get started in trading? And I'm going to pass it along because I would say there's a high bar of entry. Crypto in general now finally has a low bar of entry, and there's also low quality results with that. But just by being present and participating, you do win and reap benefits and rewards from meeting new people, potentially making money, getting employed, etc. It's a new industry. It's innovation. It's it's the future of finance and a lot of other industries too. But I'd be curious. Trading's a very, I want to say, kind of difficult thing to get into. It's somewhat complicated. So on a base level, what got you into what you're into?
Like personally, or how Kronos Research got started, or like at the firm?
Personally first, and then I'm building it up. We're starting in easy mode.
All right. I guess I learned about trading back in college. I was studying electrical computer engineering, and some of my smart friends, they were telling me about trading. And I started having internships, interned a couple prop trading firms at banks, and I decided that trading is very exciting. Market is always changing. You get to see the combination of human psychology as well as data analysis. It's an extremely competitive industry, zero sum. If you're making money, someone else is losing money. So overall, those things excite me, and I decided to pursue trading full-time after college. Similar as Max, started in Chicago in a prop trading firm for almost a decade, and I then decided to go into crypto.
Yeah. Before I answer my question, I actually want to throw it back to the audience a little bit. Who here trades more than 1 million in volume per month? Has anyone trade more than $1 million in volume per month? No one is. I just want to say you're not alone. It's not easy to trade that much of a volume for a lot of people. Mostly it's very skewed, where 1%, top 10% does most of the trading volume for any exchange that exists. My personal story is I'm more interested in tech perspective of how things progress. And back in 2017, all my developer friends were, every day I meet them, right? And I was younger. Every day I meet them, they were like, oh, there's this thing called Ethereum. it's going up like 10x per day, like kind of like, that vibe. And that's how I was initially interested. Back in the day, there weren't as many exchanges like it used to. The biggest exchange now is Upbit in Korea, but like it didn't exist back then. So that's how I kind of got into crypto investment. Before that, I was too young to actually be a pro trader. I was more of a tech, product manager. But after I hopped in, initially for the first 4 months, I really didn't sell anything. So my trading volume would be zero, and my P&L would be very high because I didn't touch a thing on Ethereum. But it was very only recently after I hopped into the crypto industry that I really started to kind of tap into a lot of on-chain trading, a lot of like leverage trading, perp trading. And I would call myself a very newbie in that instance compared to all the pro traders. But I also think because of that, I also think that a lot of the crypto traders are like me. Like they don't start as a pro trader. They start as more of a younger, I would say progressive newbie traders to kind of rack up educations, watch YouTube, Telegram channels to learn about, RSIs. And that's me. So I've been trading since then. And because, we make a trading product, obviously, I've been intentionally trying to trade more. And I guess that's where I am as a trader.
Well, for me, being a trader is always my dream because I came from a business family in Shanghai. So dealing a lot of business strategy myself when I was very, very young. So trading industry is the quickest way to verify if your strategy is right or not. You can see your results after you deploy your strategy within seconds. So this is something like you can never expect from any other industry. So my first job is a Chicago Board of Trade. When I walk in, there are like maybe 50 plus 30-inch screens around you. So it's more like when you go into the casino lobby, you will feel the same way, all right? You will feel the same thing. Exactly. So the other thing is when you walk in the trading industry, you will be surrounded by a lot of good talents, a lot of smart people. So when they exchange the idea, it's a very, very interesting environment you want to be involved. So this is the beauty of the industry. Like you can never expect this anywhere else, to be honest. Yeah, so that's why it's no question. If you haven't never been in trading industry, I don't recommend you to do that because you have to handle a lot of pressure yourself. It's not good for everyone's mental health, to be honest. You have to adjust it one way or the other. But for me, it is a perfect place for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally, I learned a lot about risk tolerance and also how to be risk adverse. And I like reading the room and understanding conditions impacting my decisions. And so I think trading for me has always kind of been, it's been difficult because I'm very empathetic. And so I understand when one person's winning, another person's losing, and I want everybody to win together. And so I started kind of researching and deep diving into how a lot of private equity and family offices and VCs worked, and I started digging into the arbitrage and the in-between and the fees and cost of transacting. And I started to kind of like pull back the curtains a little bit and learn how to participate in a manner that could really help a lot of people win. And I think that's the beauty of it. It's something that you can do anywhere in the world at any time as long as you have at least a phone and internet. And now we have mesh networks coming and being more accessible as well. So I think trading is a very bullish way to bump your head and learn something new. But the upside to it is really amazing, and there's no crying in the casino. I mean, we're all in crypto, so I'm sure some of you have shed some tears. But generally speaking, I think it's a good thing on a base level to understand, and it's only becoming more and more accessible to everybody with different platforms allowing people to participate at a low cost of entry. So all that said, all of you work for different factors and arms of these companies that are helping people trade and do volume and move money and you know, kind of outshark each other. What would you say is you know, one thing that your company does that's very unique? I mean, you all are dedicated. It takes a lot to be, you know, standing in the position or role of any of these companies. What's something that's very unique or special that you feel is one of the first things out of your mouth when you're representing the brands that you do?
Yeah. So yeah, at Flipster, I mean, obviously there are multiple various and you know, compositions in the team, right? And one thing that I think we can really kind of boast is our history and kind of our expertise around trading itself. So I think a lot of our team owns the knowledge and the financial knowledge enough to actually provide the right experience for the traders to actually trade on the platform. We have a booth outside and we pitch on the zero spread and we pitch on a very thick liquidity and fast execution. What does that mean, right? For, like you say, real trader pain points is that, you know, I want to get a position in of a X size. But in a lot of times, if you're a pro trader and if you're frequently trading at a larger size, the larger you get, it's harder to secure the price. Or even like, you know, there's going to be a lot of like slippages, you know, if you just like go into a low liquidity market and try to, you know, just scrap your way out. And if you see our app, Flipster, one level depth, we always try to secure up to your personal max position size. We guarantee that you have that price and you are secure to put a position in with that price instantly. So I always show this product to a lot of people, like, you know, the audience here. You just go in and you just see the price and you would put your order in to up to an amount that is allowed by the platform. And you will get that order in instantly. So I would say from a trader perspective, like that fast execution with a guaranteed or like a zero spread pricing could be one of the things that is very unique in the market right now.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I'll add a little bit to that. I mean, for people that haven't traded before, whether it's E-Trade or even Robinhood or whatever you're using, right? At the end of the day, there's a cutoff and a limit in terms of when your order gets pushed through. And, you know, the good thing about crypto and also the bad thing about crypto is it is 24/7, 365. It does not stop. It does not recognize holidays or weekends or anything like that. So you could go to the restroom or you could go to sleep or you can blink and lose everything or gain everything. And speed of transactions is extremely important. And providing buffers or ways of kind of preventing you from losing it all is companies being mindful and considerate to the fact of like, you need this and you need this now and we're going to push this through, or we're going to tell you, no, we can't take your money. We can't do it, you know? But yeah, Max, I'd love to know what, I think I met your team last night a little bit and everybody's super solid. What makes you guys unique? What would you say is like the driving force of why anti-capital is a thing?
Yeah. First of all, even we're in the trading industry, I discourage people talking about profits at the company. So first of all, the most important thing is the technologies. And also, once you deliver the good work, good amount of work, the natural results will come out by yourself. So that's why we focused on hiring, recruiting the top talents to these companies. We carefully to pick who we want to be associated with during those 10 hours, 8 hours a day. So, and I always say it is important to be careful how you're going to spend your time at a company. make sure you don't get suffered. You know, what I say is, if you don't enjoy working at Tech Capital, it's something like you need to think twice. Like, and also the other thing is besides the technologies, and the more important is the product we offering to our traders at Tech Capitals, from trading infra, data infras. So I came from Chicago and New York, tower, hedge fund, prop tradings. Now we spend a decent amount of efforts and time in digital assets also. So I will try to phrase anti-capital as like a modernized way of the trading, a modernized traditional prop trading shops. So it's kind of like combining Chicago prop trading and New York hedge fund, and also maybe Silicon Valley startup cultures, put everything together. So last but not the least, I think it's very important to have everyone at Enter Capital and also future employee of Enter Capital keep that in mind, is not everyone deserve Enter Capital, the name itself, and also you have to take the pride of your time at Enter Capital. It is very, very important of that.
We have a new challenger.
A new challenger has arrived. Bella, how are you? As soon as it should be, try it one more time. Wait, you don't have to press any of the buttons.
Hello. Yeah, sorry for being late. I was at another stage, so I was already arrived. But yeah, here I am. So
yeah.
Happy to also explain who I am, and also if you can repeat about the questions, happy to also answer more.
Yeah, I mean, you're all good. You're in the fishbowl. You're in it to win it, and I appreciate you jumping from stage A to stage B. Yeah, that's a boss move, you know. The question that I asked was around what makes the company that you work for unique or special. What is the North Star? Why are you there? What makes it something that is fulfilling, right?
Should I answer first? Give her a couple minutes to settle down.
Yeah.
All right. So I very much resonate what Max said. I really like I guess my answer will be two things. One, towards the people who work with, you really have to like what you do and like people you're surrounding yourself with. And that's the only way you will actually do your best work, because you enjoy the environment. And when you do well, the company also benefit, right? So the company's goal and personal goal have to be aligned for that to work, and we try to strive for that. And to our external partners, I want to say what we stand out is our integrity. We heavily focus on that and try to do the right thing, and we often connect to other partners through word of mouth. We think that even though we may leave a lot of money on the table at times, but that's how we survive for the long run. So Kronos has been around for 7 years now. We have a good reputation. We want to continue to do this and try to be a good actor in this space.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Bella, and I'm working at a company called Caladan, which is a Singaporean-based prop trading firm. I think this panel is very interesting because Youngsun works at Flipster, which is a trading platform. And I also know Kronos Research, which we're also prop trading firm, and there's also anti-capital as well. For me, my job is overseeing all those partnership and ecosystem that we invest and also work as a client partner. So for me, I had zero trading background. I have zero finance experience. But after I joined Caladan, one thing I realized was it's all about just understanding clients' problem and how can I help them. And it really resonates well with who I am, because I'm very, very curious how people are thinking about their problem and how I can help with them. Especially for crypto, there's a lot of information gap between some people who are already working in finance or TradFi versus who are very, very degen and who know about community. For me, I came across from Korea, now living in Singapore, and I also work on more community side compared to other really TradFi and corporate people. So in that kind of context, what we do seems very difficult, or sometimes it's really hard to understand what is prop trading firm, how they're making money, as well as market maker. There are really vague information about what this market maker does and how they are making money. But for me, I'm just trying to be transparent, like how we are doing that and what's the logic behind. And I believe the most important things in terms of communicating with our partners, it's all about like transparency. So the way I communicate with clients is I first try to understand like what are the exact problems do they have and what's the solutions that we can also work together with. And also, as I'm like working across ecosystem team, if there's any good portfolio companies that we can support, or is there any existing partnership that I can leverage them, I'm like super happy to do that always. So based on that experiences, now Caladan is moving towards to like more treasury management and like working with more corporates so that we can help treasury and finance companies to get more exposure in crypto. So that's kind of broader goal for our farm to become an investment banking in crypto. And I really like how we're approaching and my role and job there.
You're hired.
Thank
Jeez.
you.
Okay. And I appreciate that. All of you gave very thorough responses to basically help people understand, like, do what you love. You never work a day in your life. You might work forever, but at least you'll enjoy it. So I guess the reason that we're all on this stage is to talk about pain points, adversity, obstruction, hardship. What would you say is like maybe one or two of the biggest walls that you face being in volatile markets that are 24/7, 365, and I mean, none of us have control over it, right? Politics and all sorts of things kind of sway the narrative as well as change the market and the conditions and how we operate and buy, sell, and trade. But what would you say is like one of the biggest issues that a lot of people have as traders in general? And this can go to anybody. Want to go first? Or everybody.
I feel as a trader, it doesn't matter as a retail trader or institutional trader, the biggest hurdle here is mentally you associated with money. Mentally you associated with money. Either you made money or you lost it. This is very bad. I mean, I have interviewed hundreds of different traders. Their difficulty is they tend to review how much money I made, how much money I lost in the last 10 minutes. This is bad. I learned it from my first job. My previous mentor back to Chicago about 16 years ago find a way to mentally decouple yourself from keep looking of the numbers. Is first of all, remove the dollar sign front of the numbers. Don't think that's the dollars. Think that's the numbers. Second, divide all the numbers by 1,000. When you say 10, that means 10 grand. When you say 100, it means 100 grand. Don't say the full numbers. So the industry you hear is the game of the, we call it game of the numbers, right? So your results is try to optimize the numbers. That's it. No dollar sign, divide everything by 1,000. I think this can help a lot of people, or either you invest yourself or you join a trading firm. It should be very helpful.
Yeah, I just hide the P&L. I'm like in the red 134,000 on every token ever in life, and I'm just like, you know what? Let's hide this and keep rolling.
Just say 34.
I say cash out before you crash out. But yeah,
That's a whale talk right there.
Yeah, but no, literally the pain point for sure, like mental health and like instability that's attached to our attachment to money. I think a lot of people get detached and almost disassociated. And I think for me personally, like the first jackpot that I won at a casino, and then the winning of I won a blackjack tournament, and then I won a poker tournament. And once you have these big windfalls and these big wins, and I helped launch like Bored Ape Yacht Club and Oniforce and a bunch of other NFT projects, and I've also worked on a lot of token teams. And I'm telling you, you gotta keep your head in check and definitely put the blinders on. So
yeah, it was one more comments. A lot of people tend to do a lot of quick math in their mind, like, oh, I made 100 grand. What that mean is that 2 years of my salary. Don't ever think about it that way. Don't ever think about it.
100%. Yeah. How about?
So I think what Max has said is kind of like the foundation of all crypto trading, because there's this monstrous product called like perp trading. It's like, infinite loop of like, perp trading going on. Like it's a perpetual futures, right? And then also there's 24/7 trading. So like no one's stopping. And these two kind of combined is kind of killing all the traders. And I want to ask the audience again, like, who right now has a position or is holding crypto, like more than, I don't know, like, $100 at the least? Don't tell me you guys don't have any crypto and you're in Taipei blockchain week, right?
That's everybody.
Raise your hand if you have crypto that is worth more than $100 right now.
Don't raise your hand.
Or don't. It's okay.
Yeah. The audience is shy. But obviously my point is like at one point, if you have a position that is larger than your, I would say, your God, then it's going to be hard to sleep. So like to your point, like it's a psychology thing that moves beyond. And I actually want to point the next thing that I felt as a trader is basically when I want to get into a position or I want to exit a position, it's very hard as a retail trader or like a trader to time that or execute it right. So for example, we have market maker firms here, but like, for example, if you want to get into a position at a right price and you might be a little bit slow to the game and the price just moves up the ladder and like you're not in if you have a maker order, right? So sometimes then people actually just tend to FOMO in and, just like lose their composure and follow those prices up. Also, at the same time, if you have a position and I tend to have hard time sometimes sleeping if I have even the slightest position on, but I do have position on for a longer time. So I think those are some of the things that as a trading infrastructure product that we can really strive to solve some of. So for example, like how do we make sure if the trader wants to get into a position, we make it as fast as possible and we make the execution as smooth as possible. So when we first were building Flipster product, we actually did a research on how many steps does a trader take on this platform to get into a position. Like sometimes it's like double digits. Like it's 30 few steps sometimes in order to trigger every configurations. And there are blockers on the way that is stopping you from getting into a position as quick as possible. So how do we make sure that we inform the users and we get the users to do the right positioning, but at the same time, give a really fast execution smoothly? I think is number one to solve that issue of the entry. And I think the second one is something that we haven't figured out fully, but we want to really figure out how do we make sure that the traders are relatively better at peace while trading, because it seems like it's a very brutal thing to be trading like this, and to make it sustainable for a lot of these traders that are not trained or that are not disciplined or they're not algo based. How do we make sure that they stay in the game and keep trading? I mean, we had some sample questions around AI or other types of tools that can help these traders be on the game without having to, focus their mind for entirety of the day. And those are some of the things that we also have in mind for future-proof purposes. So number one is what we do now, and number two, probably in next few years, we need to do anyways.
Yeah. Filters, stop losses, limitations, knowing where the line is, and that also Flipster will send you the best mattress and sleep mask and earplugs ever if you're a trader.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Biggest form of adversity that you think that people face and how you resolve it.
Sure. So I guess the biggest frustration, I think it's same with founders. People think founders are very superficial people that knows everything, but to be honest, it's not. So I often thought maybe they know better than me because they're founders, they're builders. But when you really talk about, do you know what the market making is and how we can help? The answer is pretty no. And I think in this space, especially towards market maker, a lot of people still think they're pump and dump traders, and they're really here to, they're doing not a good behavior in general. So I wrote a thread. I just like talk to people, and I'm trying to basically educate people about meeting their expectation. So first and foremost, like market maker is not the entity that like pricing up your like token. It's not like pumping your token, rather like dumping your token. We have a like basic requirements to fulfill that like agreement. How we can tightening the spread and how we can also increase more depth. That's the like first and foremost requirement as like market maker. And another benefit that we can give is actually explain what we're going to do correctly and also meeting that kind of expectation. But I think this space is very, very saturated, and also a lot of like other market makers behave pretty like not good. So a lot of people still assume if we can work with this market maker, they're gonna increase our token price and we will gonna like exceed at the point. But to meet that expectation is like it's nonsense, and we're not trying to do this. And this is why we think like fundamentally educating the founders and trying to make them to understand what is the thing that they can expect from market makers is more important than actually fulfill that requirement immediately.
Yeah.
I guess to me, like the number one goal for traders to make money, right? So the pain points is how do you make more money? And from that, partially we love the crypto industry because it decentralized some of the tools that's only available to the institutions, to the professionals, like Uniswap and mempool, right? Kind of decentralize the market making logic, even though it's not perfect. But now everyday user are able to enjoy the essentially selling volatility or collecting the spreads, collecting the fees through that. And we see more and more of that being developed in this direction, right? Like most famously, like recently, Hyperliquid HLP Vault. What does it do? People deposit their money. Now you get to enjoy a professional market making algorithm that's market making on the platform. Now everyday user can enjoy the result of that. And our sister company, Orderly Network, they have the Omni Vault, and then Kronos Research is the vault operator. We actually do not take any performance fee. We use our proprietary market making algorithm to manage that vault and provide liquidity. And I think the direction will always be towards this, where we decentralize more and more of the professional tools and open up to everyday users, so that traders can have more options, can learn from there, and enjoy the results. So.
I actually have a question for Vincent. Do you think the traders segments are transferable between the two? So to say, like quasi institutions or like very heavy traders versus like lighter retail traders. Because like you said, like decentralization has actually opened a lot of these retail traders or like newbies to actually put liquidities into LPs, or like media-order LP farming is something that people, like they would have never dreamed of. But they're doing it, right? So do you think that's the direction that's going to constantly go, or like is it for like only certain elements of the industry that you think is going to be valid?
I think in general it comes down to there's money to be made, and everybody's trying to get a piece of it, and we'll squeeze the most out of it, and then people get annoyed. Give a concrete example, right? Token market making. When token wants to get listed, all the big central exchanges ask a big bite of it, right? In the beginning, people pay the price. But over time, people are sick and tired of paying the price. And then people will innovate something that will break that rule, break that monopoly. And I think in a way, that's why many projects are successful. LCLP Vault is successful because it did that. Like Uniswap is successful partially because it did that as well. So I guess to answer your question, I do think that will be the direction, even though depends on whose cake you're taking, all right? It will always be whose benefit you're impacting, but I do think that's the direction, and that's personally why I'm very excited about this industry. Yeah.
I love it. Love it. So we have a minute left. Got to keep this short. What is one piece of advice or knowledge from your experience that you can leave the audience with, or the crowd with, or the people that are listening and watching, that will benefit them, that will help them out if they want to tiptoe or, put a a baby step into the water of trading, investing, or even crypto or anything. It doesn't even need to be tech oriented. It doesn't need to be finance focused. But what's one piece of advice that you would give to maybe your former self or something that you think that people would benefit from?
Should I start? Yeah. I guess probably you have to know exactly what your edge is when you are trading. And you should know how or when you will exit the position. I think those two, if you're able to always answer those two questions, will keep you sort of disciplined to know why you're trading. You're not just gambling because you know exactly what your edge is. And if your edge is not there, you will stop trading. And also when you exit the position, also keeps you disciplined so that when it's time to take profit, you have to exit. Always time to stop loss, you have to exit. It's very difficult to do, but that's all traders, always think about. Yeah.
Well, I have a very, very newbie trader advice, given the sentiment of audience I kind of got, is that I would advise people to just trade something that they know really well about. Be it the chart, be it about the project, like especially in crypto. Like focus on let's say one project that you really kind of dive deep into, and then you start trading there. Then you have a massive advantage of knowing where that resistance would be. It doesn't even need to be a token. It could be an NFT project. If you've really dived down into community and if you really digged deeper into that specific project, you would know where people think and how people behave on certain price ranges or how people behave around those collections, right? So I think that's one thing that a non-expert trader can still have an edge when you are very expert on that specific project, if you're not an expert at trading. And that's something that I would say sometimes works, and probably the only advice I can give to the audience today.
I think not everyone want to be a trader. That's good, so I can make money. And one advice is definitely to be resilient and also be adaptive and be honest to yourself. Don't make any excuse to say, oh, is it because of that, because of this, so I cannot do better. There's no excuse in this world. If anything happened to you, it's because you are not good enough.
Yeah, one advice that I will tell to also myself is never feel FOMO. So it's my fourth year in crypto. Until last year, I had zero thoughts about, I need to make money because I'm in crypto. I had never ever thought about that. I really liked and enjoyed where I am. But now I feel oh my God, I should make money because it's already fourth year. But I'm telling myself and everyone that you don't need to set all the priorities making money. And if you're not a professional trader, it's okay, but nobody is telling it's okay to not making money. So I just wanted to mention that piece.
Yeah, I would say I've seen people put everything in and get nothing out, and I've seen people put nothing in and get everything out. Tomorrow's not promised. Don't sweat the petty stuff and don't pet the sweaty stuff. and honestly, you can't stress and lose sleep and degrade and deteriorate your health knowing that you have no control over the results. You only have so much control. We're getting more and more control with more sophisticated tools, but where there's opportunity, there's opportunists in every industry. So at the end of the day, if you're going to play, you can't hate the game or the player. If you're participating, you are susceptible to loss just as much as you are susceptible to wins. And hopefully you're winning more than losing. And if you're losing, you know when to stop and press the big red button and step away. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with this space. I feel like people don't really know when to cut themselves off and when to stop, and it's something that has to be self-regulated. It's on you to do that. So I appreciate the time here. All of y'all have been great. This conversation was valuable. I hope you all got a lot out of it. And yeah, we got to keep rolling to the next panel. So thank you all. And if you can give a round of applause for our speakers.